Hello. We are hat group assignment number 9, and today I'm here to talk to you about leadership and culture in an era of hybrid work and share what we learned. See if I can move this somewhere else. There we go. Okay. So my name is Langseth-DePaolis. My group members' names were Patrick Schultz and Cynthia Vargas. We chose to focus our case study on Spotify. COVID forced a lot of organizations to rethink how they conduct business. And Spotify was an organization that stood out to us as a company that did a good job of prioritizing people over process. In February 2021, they launched their work from anywhere policy, which created remote work opportunities for people around the globe. And it basically allowed employees to work literally from anywhere. And this policy created, like I said, broad opportunities to reach very diverse talent pools. And it also came as a result of the leadership team at Spotify being incredibly adaptive and being willing to listen to their employees and what they need, and also seemingly having, like I said, prioritizing people over process. Spotify demographics. Spotify is an audio streaming company. Just to back up a little bit, it's a Swedish company based in Stockholm. And amongst a lot of good things that Spotify does, it also they also release an annual equity impact report, which provides transparent data about their company, as well as human resource strategies that are focused specifically on DEI initiatives. So Spotify is a pretty cool company, I think, is the consensus amongst our group members. Net gains from a new strategy. So kind of in the midst of the pandemic, Spotify expanded their blueprint from 2 to 42 states in the US and expanded their global footprint into Sweden, Germany, Spain, and the Netherlands. Spotify is one of those companies that has been talking about remote work for years. But when the pandemic hit, when COVID-19 became a global issue, they decided to go full force into a remote model. And that led them to their work from anywhere policy. And then just overall, the overall theme that we saw when we were conducting research into Spotify's policies and practices is that they truly place an emphasis on flexibility and work-life balance, which has been highly beneficial to their company culture, as well as employee morale and motivation. Leadership during organizational change. So we wanted to think about how leaders played a role in the shift that happened as a result of the global pandemic after COVID-19 and during COVID-19. So we learned that hybrid and remote work programs can offer more diversity and more talent management across a wider geographical map. We also learned that leaders are able to foster professional team growth by remaining proactive and also emphasizing the link between work and strategy. Also, loyalty and employee engagement. Excuse me. At Spotify specifically, they developed a bottom to top style of communication that basically paired, or rather grouped together, employees, managers, sometimes stakeholders, of all different levels in all different areas, and they come together periodically to discuss whatever their particular group was assigned, whatever area their group was assigned to, which is a really cool way to, again, foster inclusivity and cultivate a sense of purpose amongst your employees. Literature review, some of the key quotes we pulled out are listed here. They kind of highlight basic overarching themes of our literature review. Now, this is not all of them. We couldn't fit all of the overarching themes on this page, but these are some of the key quotes, specifically ones that we saw applied to Spotify. So we see here researchers talking about the experience of work having changed for the vast majority of employees in the aftermath, or in the wake rather, of COVID-19. Hughes, as we know, very first page of our textbook, writes that leadership is a process, not a position. And in our paper, we really tried to remember to zoom out a little bit and remember this, and remember to kind of weave this idea through our paper as a theme. There's also this model that we learned about called flexibility as necessity, which is the idea that organizations need to model their leadership and culture on the ability to change. I found that very interesting because I've always thought it was I went into this research thinking it was the reverse, that we should model culture. We should model the ability to change and on culture and leadership, but our research suggests that it's the opposite. We need to be modeling leadership and culture on the ability to change. Culture can be an organization's greatest asset or most significant liability. This was revealing for all of us, I think, because none of us had ever thought about culture as being a liability necessarily. Definitely an asset, but never a liability. And then there are a couple of other quotes here, but for the sake of time, I will not read them out loud or elaborate on them. But know that we have applied all of these themes, to our analysis of our case study, Spotify. Conclusion and recommendation recap. So we learned that Spotify is very much in alignment with what many scholars argue to be the best demonstrations of leadership, and particularly demonstrations of leadership during times of upheaval or times of change. Their recent shift to allow employees to work from anywhere doesn't seem to be totally aligned with what scholars believe to be the best practices to foster company culture. But that being said, there is a tension point there where, yes, Spotify's practices and policies and their work from anywhere rollout has had wide sweeping positive effects on the company, but it also potentially poses a threat to the maintenance of company culture. So we recommend that Spotify continue to prioritize people over process. So that, for example, continuing to utilize Think Human, which is a coaching and management tool that prioritizes company culture to better morale and motivation. Also, Think Human places a huge emphasis on DEI initiatives, which we believe to be very important in the creation and the maintenance of company culture. And again, like we discussed previously, the utilization of the bottom to top style guilds that Spotify uses and has come up with, we thought was an incredibly innovative way to foster company culture and also to maintain it. So we recommend that they continue doing all of those things, but we recommend that Spotify continue doing most of what they're doing, but we also learned, and believe that they may want to consider offering more regular opportunities for check-ins, face-to-face check-ins. And we also understand that with their globalized workforce, that could be very difficult. But I know some organizations, some larger corporations and larger organizations are doing what they call local meetups. So like local group meetups, so not necessarily team meetups in person, face to face, but like anyone who works for the company who lives near each other are provided with a space to meet up and have that face to face time. And that is everything. Thank you so much.